For 49 years, Voyager 1 has traveled 15 billion miles into the void, but NASA just confirmed something chilling. 2026 is the beginning of the end. Later this year, Voyager crosses one light day from Earth, so far that our signals take 24 hours to reach it and 24 hours to return. The question isn't if Voyager will die, it's whether it'll still be alive to hear us one last time. Hit that like button and subscribe to Synth Cosmos because this is the story of the long goodbye.
Let's talk about distance, because most people don't realize just how far Voyager 1 has gone. When you send a text message to someone across the world, it arrives in milliseconds. When Mission Control sends a command to the Mars rovers, those signals travel at the speed of light and take about 14 minutes to arrive. That's already mind-blowing. You press a button on Earth, and 14 minutes later, a rover on Mars gets the message. But Voyager 1? Right now, in February 2026, it takes over 22.5 hours for a signal to reach it, one way. That means if NASA sends a command right now, Voyager won't receive it until tomorrow. And if Voyager sends data back, we won't see it for another 22.5 hours. That's a 45-hour conversation with a machine that's still technically in our neighborhood. Here's why 2026 is so significant. Sometime later this year, Voyager 1 will cross a threshold no human-made object has ever touched, one light day. Now, what does that actually mean? Light is the fastest thing in the universe. It travels at 671 million miles per hour. In 1 second, light can circle the Earth 7.5 times. In 8 minutes, it reaches the Sun. But one light day? That's the distance light travels in a full 24 hours, 16 billion miles. To help you visualize this, if Earth were the size of a basketball, the Moon would be a tennis ball about 23 feet away. The Sun would be 3 miles away. But Voyager 1? At one light day, it would be over 6,000 miles away. You could fly from New York to Tokyo twice and still not cover that distance, and that's just on our tiny Earth-scale model. When Voyager crosses one light day, we enter truly uncharted territory. The spacecraft will be so far away that if something goes wrong, if a critical system fails, if the power suddenly drops to dangerous levels, we won't even know about it for an entire day. And by the time we realize there's a problem and send emergency commands, another full day passes. Voyager will be alone in the dark, fighting for survival for 48 hours before any help can possibly arrive. Think about that. For 48 hours, Voyager is completely on its own. No human can help it. No engineer can troubleshoot. It's more alone than anything humanity has ever built. And every single day after crossing one light day, it gets a little bit farther, a little more unreachable, a little closer to becoming unreachable forever. Right now, Voyager 1 is traveling at 38,000 miles per hour. That's fast enough to fly from Los Angeles to New York in 4 minutes. But even at that incredible speed, it's taken 49 years to get this far. And it's still just barely left our cosmic neighborhood. The nearest star system, Alpha Centauri, is 4.3 light-years away. At Voyager's current speed, it would take 73,000 years to get there, and it's not even headed in that direction. This is the scale we're dealing with. This is how far Voyager has gone, and somehow, against all odds, it's still talking to us, still sending data, still exploring, but not for much longer.
But here's what most people don't know. Voyager 1 is dying right now. Not from damage, not from a meteor strike or some cosmic accident. It's dying from something far simpler. It's running out of power. Voyager doesn't use solar panels like most spacecraft. It's too far from the sun for that to work.
Out where Voyager is, sunlight is 400 times weaker than it is on Earth. Solar panels would be completely useless. Instead, Voyager runs on something called radioisotope thermoelectric generators. Let me break that down. These are essentially nuclear batteries. They contain plutonium-238, a radioactive material that naturally produces heat as it decays. That heat gets converted into electricity. When Voyager launched in 1977, those 3 generators produced 470 watts of power. That's enough to run a decent desktop computer or 5 old-fashioned light bulbs. Not much, but enough to keep all of Voyager's instruments running, its heaters on, and its antenna pointed at Earth. But here's the problem. Radioactive decay doesn't stop. Every single year, Voyager loses about 4 watts of power. It's been 49 years. Do the math. Today, Voyager is producing less than 220 watts. That's barely enough to power 3 light bulbs, and it's dropping every single day. So NASA is being forced to make impossible choices. They're playing a brutal game of triage, deciding which parts of Voyager get to live and which parts have to die. In 2024, they shut down the Plasma Science instrument to conserve energy. Before that, the ultraviolet spectrometer went dark. Then the planetary radio astronomy instrument. One by one, Voyager's senses are being turned off forever. Think of it like a person with organ failure. NASA is essentially shutting down the lungs to save the heart, turning off the eyes to keep the brain alive, because there are only 2 things that absolutely must keep running: the main computer and the antenna. The computer is Voyager's brain, processing commands and managing systems. The antenna is its voice, the only way it can talk to Earth. Without that antenna pointed directly at us, Voyager can't phone home. And if it can't phone home, it might as well be dead. Right now, engineers are even making a terrifying gamble. They're turning off heaters. In the freezing cold of deep space, where temperatures drop to minus 270 degrees Fahrenheit, they're letting parts of Voyager freeze, just to save a few watts of power. They're betting that the critical systems, especially that antenna, can survive the cold for just a few more years. It's a calculated mercy killing, buying time 1 watt at a time, 1 instrument at a time, knowing that eventually there will be nothing left to turn off. And when that day comes, when the power finally drops below the minimum needed to run the antenna, Voyager will send its last signal. And then, silence. Forever.
So when does it actually end? When does Voyager 1 send its last signal and go dark forever? NASA's best estimate? Sometime in the early 2030s, maybe 2032, maybe 2035. It all depends on how cold Voyager can get before its critical systems freeze and fail completely. But here's the part that haunts every engineer who works on this mission. Even after the power dies, even after the last instrument shuts down, even after the antenna stops pointing toward Earth and can no longer phone home, Voyager won't stop moving. It can't. There's no brakes in space, no friction, no air resistance, nothing to slow it down. Voyager will keep drifting at 38,000 miles per hour through the void, silently, a ghost ship carrying humanity's message into the eternal night. It will become a tomb, a monument, traveling through interstellar space long after everyone who built it is gone. And here's where the timeline gets truly staggering. In about 40,000 years, Voyager 1 will pass within 1.6 light-years of a star called Gliese 445. It's in the constellation Camelopardalis, a dim red dwarf star that you can't even see with the naked eye from Earth. Voyager won't stop there. It won't orbit. It'll just drift past, like a ship passing another ship in the night, and keep going. But think about what 40,000 years means. The pyramids of Egypt are only 4,500 years old. Human civilization as we know it has only existed for about 10,000 years. 40,000 years ago, Neanderthals still walked the Earth. 40,000 years from now, everything we know will be unrecognizable. By the time Voyager reaches Gliese 445, every engineer who designed it will be gone. every scientist who tracked its journey, every person who watched its launch on television in 1977, every child who looked up at the stars knowing Voyager was out there representing humanity, all of them will be dust. Their great-great-great-grandchildren, 1,000 generations removed, will be dust. But Voyager will still be there, still drifting, still carrying its cargo. And it doesn't stop at 40,000 years. In 300 million years, Voyager will complete one full orbit around the center of our galaxy. The Milky Way will spin, stars will be born and die, entire solar systems will form, and Voyager will just keep going. In 5 billion years, when our sun expands into a red giant and swallows Mercury, Venus, and possibly Earth itself, Voyager will still be out there, drifting through the darkness between stars. It will outlive our planet. It will outlive our sun. It will outlive our entire solar system. And the only thing future civilizations, if they exist, might ever find of humanity could be 2 Voyager probes drifting in opposite directions, still carrying the sounds of a world that no longer exists. That's not science fiction. That's math. That's physics. That's the legacy we launched in 1977.
Bolted to the side of Voyager 1 is a 12-inch gold-plated copper disc. It's called the Golden Record, and it might be the most important object humanity has ever created. This isn't just some random collection of data. It's a time capsule, a message in a bottle thrown into the cosmic ocean. And what's on it is absolutely remarkable. The Golden Record contains 115 images, photographs of Earth from space, diagrams of human anatomy, pictures of people from different cultures, images of animals, insects, plants, structures we've built, the Great Wall of China, the Taj Mahal, modern cities, ancient temples. There's even a picture of a DNA molecule, showing whoever finds this exactly what we're made of. But it's not just pictures. The record also contains sounds, greetings in 55 different languages, a child saying hello in Mandarin, an ancient Sumerian greeting, namaste in Hindi, each one a voice from Earth reaching across time and space. And then there's the natural sounds of our world: footsteps, wind, rain, thunder, waves crashing on a beach, the songs of whales and birds, a mother's kiss, a baby crying, laughter, a human heartbeat, recorded and pressed into gold, still beating as Voyager drifts through the silence. The Golden Record also carries music, 90 minutes of it: Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, Chuck Berry's Johnny B. Good, a Navajo chant, Peruvian panpipes, Javanese gamelan, pygmy girls singing, blues, jazz, classical, rock and roll, every genre, every culture, every corner of humanity represented in sound. On the cover of the record, there's a diagram. It shows Earth's location in the galaxy using pulsar map coordinates, mathematical symbols that any intelligent species should be able to decode. There are instructions on how to play the record, etched in scientific diagrams. Whoever finds this will know exactly what to do with it. Carl Sagan, the astronomer who led the Golden Record project, called it a bottle cast into the cosmic ocean. But here's the beautiful, heartbreaking truth. The Golden Record was never really meant for aliens. The odds of another civilization ever finding Voyager are infinitesimally small. Space is unimaginably vast. Voyager could drift for trillions of years and never encounter another living thing. No, the Golden Record was meant for us. It was a statement, a declaration, a reminder that in 1977, in the middle of the Cold War, when the United States and Soviet Union had enough nuclear weapons pointed at each other to destroy the world 10 times over, humanity paused, and we said, we are more than our conflicts. We are more than our wars. We are music. We are laughter. We are curiosity. We are hope. The Golden Record is proof that even in our darkest moments, we still dream of being found, of being understood, of being remembered. There's one photograph on the golden record that wasn't meant for aliens. It's image number 116, a simple silhouette of a man and a woman standing side by side. They're not waving, they're not reaching out, they're just standing there, together. Some scientists on the project wanted to show them holding hands, a universal gesture of connection and love, but NASA worried it might be too controversial, too human, too intimate for a message to the stars. So the figures stand apart, close but not touching, frozen in gold, drifting through the void for eternity, alone together. That image feels perfect now, because Voyager's entire story is about loneliness, about going so far that you can never, ever come home, about sending a message into the darkness knowing you might never get a reply, about traveling for 49 years and still barely scratching the surface of what's out there. Right now, as we speak, in February 2026, Voyager 1 is in interstellar space. That means it's beyond the heliosphere, the protective bubble created by our sun's solar wind. It's in the space between stars where the influence of our sun stops and the true void begins. It's in a place no human will reach for centuries, maybe millennia. And it's about to cross one light day. Every single day after that, it gets a little farther, a little colder, a little quieter. The signal gets a little weaker. The power drops a little lower. NASA engineers watch the telemetry every single day, knowing that one day soon, maybe tomorrow, maybe next year, maybe in 2032, the numbers will hit zero. When that happens, when the power finally fails, the last signal will transmit. It might be a status report. It might be a final temperature reading. It might be gibberish, the computer struggling to stay alive. Or it might just be silence. The signal will stop mid-sentence and we'll never know what Voyager was trying to say. And then, nothing. The antenna will drift off axis, the computer will freeze, and Voyager will become what it was always going to become, a ghost ship, a monument to human ambition carrying our story into the eternal night. But here's the thing that keeps me up at night. Even after the power dies, the golden record will remain playable for over 1 billion years. The gold plating will protect it from cosmic radiation, from micrometeorites, from the cold. Long after Earth is gone, long after our sun expands and consumes our planet, long after every trace of human civilization is erased from the universe, Voyager will still be out there, still carrying that record, still carrying us. It will outlive us. It will outlive our cities. It will outlive our species. And in some distant, unimaginable future, if anything finds it, if anything presses play, they'll hear a baby crying, laughter, Chuck Berry, a heartbeat, and they'll wonder, who were these people? Why did they send this? What were they hoping for? And the answer, etched in gold, traveling at 38,000 miles per hour through the dark, will be simple. We were here. We reached out. We hoped. The most haunting part about all of this? NASA already knows the exact year the power will fail, give or take a few. They can calculate it down to the watt, down to the month. They're watching Voyager die in slow motion, and there's absolutely nothing they can do to stop it. Every command they send, every instrument they shut down, every heater they turn off, it's all just buying time. Days, weeks, maybe months, but the end is coming. And maybe that's exactly the point. Voyager was never meant to last forever. It was meant to go farther than anything we've ever built, to show us what's out there in the darkness, to carry our message beyond the edge of our solar system, and then to become part of that darkness, a human artifact in an inhuman place. That's the mission. That's the legacy. That's the long goodbye. And that's why this story matters, because Voyager reminds us that humanity is capable of incredible things, that even in our most divided moments, we can come together to create something that transcends our conflicts, something that speaks not of our wars, but of our music, not of our borders, but of our curiosity, not of our differences, but our shared hope. In 2026, as Voyager crosses one light day from Earth, NASA will send one final series of commands. Engineers will update its flight software one last time. They'll verify the antenna alignment, they'll check the power reserves, and then they'll step back and let it go. Because there's nothing left to do but watch and wait and hope the signal keeps coming. Every day that Voyager phones home is a victory. Every byte of data it sends back is a gift. And when the final signal comes, whenever that is, it won't be a failure. It will be the completion of the most successful deep space mission in human history. Voyager has given us more than Jupiter's storms and Saturn's rings. It's given us perspective. It's shown us our place in the cosmos. It's proven that we can build things that outlast our lifetimes, that carry our best selves forward, long after we're gone. If this story moved you, hit that like button, subscribe to Synth Cosmos so you don't miss the next journey we take together, and share this video with someone who needs to be reminded that humanity is capable of greatness. Because stories like Voyager's deserve to be told, they deserve to be remembered. This is Synth Cosmos, and we are still exploring. I'll see you in the next one. Keep looking up.